Hi guys, and welcome back to a special bonus video. This video is special because this was actually commissioned by one of my awesome viewers, Cupcake Savage. So this video is for you. So if you're interested to get your own deck on my channel, one that I specifically make for you, like basically a custom build, take a look at my Ko-fi account details in the description below, and maybe one day you can get it too. All of the details are in there, so just take a look and you can see all the options available. But yes, this one was designed for Cupcake Savage, and he told me he wanted a Zacama build. And through testing, this did actually start off as Tribal. But one thing kept happening and I basically got rinsed, because Tribal, unfortunately, it doesn't really do very well when you go really deep. Once you've got 20 creatures all of the same type, you are losing value, as weird as that sounds, because the synergy just isn't that tight in Historic. Could be possible in Commander, where you've got a lot more synergy for Tribal, but for the meanwhile, on Historic Brawl, you could probably get away with maybe about 10 or so, and then the deck starts to weaken after that. So go for about 10 of your favourite tribe creatures if you're going for tribe, and fill it with, you know, some important support cards. So we do have some fun dinosaurs in the deck, like Gulta, which is a lot of the time never 12 mana, so bear that in mind. Really cheap. Itali is really great just for value as well. When he attacks, get to cast off for free. But essentially the deck is a humongous ramp deck, so we've got loads of things that ramp, like Topiary Stomper comes in, gets a basic, and Tire's Provision is great. When a land comes in you get a treasure, and basically as many ramp spells as you can see. A lot of these actually get 1 or 2 basics, which is really cool. Migration Path gets you 2. If you're building this kind of deck, don't forget that there's a lot of creatures that actually reduce the cost of dinosaurs. So Knight of the Stampede reduces the cost of dinosaurs by 2. And there's a few cards like this, so keep that in mind. One card I thought was really cool was Ironcrag Feet, because it's 4 mana for 7 red. And so basically you can cast your Zacama a little bit earlier, which is kind of awesome, and it really catches people off guard, because not only does it speed up the mana by +3, it says you can only cast 1 more spell this turn, right? So that will be the general, but it doesn't matter, because all of your mana can then be used to fuel Zacama's activated abilities, which is crazy. So very powerful, very diverse. Lightning Bolt, Disenchant, and gain 3 life, very powerful. So if you didn't know Zacama, basically the whole thing about this card is when it comes in, if you cast it, untap all your lands. So you don't want to reanimate this, because it's not going to be a very good reanimation target, because it's not cast. And one thing I will say, if you do get them out, make sure that you've got protection spells. I've got loads, like Tamio Safekeeping, which is probably the best green protection spell they've ever made. Snakeskin Veil, Ranger's Guile, Blossoming Defense. I would say these are an absolute must, because for a 9 mana general, you have to protect it, because if you don't, you're probably not going to ever cast it again, so be very wary. So yeah, this one's for you, Cupcake Savage. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope everyone else does as well. It's really fun in testing, and just, yeah, really interesting deck to play. And also you'll be facing some more diverse opponents, hopefully, because there's not, you know, conventional cards as such in the deck. But let's get into the games, and don't forget to leave me a like and a sub. And don't forget, you can also donate on the Ko-fi channel. Check it out in the description below. And if you want me to make a deck for you, the details are there as well. It will be in the commissioned section. Cool, so let's get into some games. Okay, we go first against Chainer with a very suspect hand. We don't have 3 mana, and these are not the fastest. Maybe it is worth keeping though, because we've got the removal here. You know what, I'm going to keep a risky hand. I wouldn't advise you to do this in a tournament, but on this channel, sometimes the risks pay off. So let's have a look and see how we do. And there we go, we got the mana, so that was very lucky. So two or more than us, so we can just probably yeah, we'll just go for the tap Stomping Ground. Yeah, that's unfortunate, because we couldn't have had an untapped land to cast a Fateful Absence, so that might come back to bite us on the arse. But Arcane Signet, so next turn they can go for the Chainer, but the Chainer on the turn he comes out isn't so scary. It's probably the turn after, that's where it gets crazy. So let's try for Raging Raptors now. We're not going to be able to block the Paladin, unfortunately, because it has Menace. But if they do get Chainer out, we can probably just kill it with the Fateful Absence and the Gilded Goose. There is an argument about potentially casting Migration Path. Be pretty good. If you're building a dinosaur shell, don't forget how powerful Enrage is, especially if you can get creatures out that can damage your own guys, like ping them, would be really useful. Obviously in the wrong colours, but something like Live Mizzet, whenever you draw a card, deal 1 damage, that would be insane in the dinosaur build. I'm not sure how you'd weave in blue, but something along those lines. Ping damage, 1 damage here, 1 damage there. Okay, so they're being very aggressive, so... Restoration of a Ganjo, so we're going to get a Plains here. It's a shame it wasn't a green source, because we can't also go for the Ixalan RLs, but... So the thing about Chainer is they want to get cards out of the graveyard into play, but they don't actually have any in there yet, so I'm not really sure how. Duress, oh, they're going to get rid of the Farewell, aren't they? I think the Farewell is probably the best card against them, yeah. That is a real shame. That is quite scary, so they've ramped up majorly. So we'll discard the Gilded Goose. And then it gets it back. So they're probably going to play something huge in their next turn, so I guess we can just do some ramping ourselves. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're getting close to Zacama. What are they going for here? 3, 4, 5. Seasoned Pyromancer. So they're going to draw 2, then discard 2. Well, that's an interesting choice. Oh, sorry, discard 2, then draw 2 when it comes in. Oh, sorry, I read that the wrong way around. Okay, so they're swinging in for 7. This is not over yet. We get a blocker. And so if we sequence this correctly, so go for the Tireless Provision first. Then we can go for the Topiary Stomper, which gets us a land. And the land also gives us a treasure. And then we have the 2 mana open for the Fateful Absence, which could be useful. So the question is, do I kill the Chainer here? I think the answer is yes, because I don't want them to... I basically just don't want them to have access to Chainer. Because I can see... I've seen what Chainers can do. And it normally rhymes with the word Ulamog. So annoyingly they do draw a card. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we get an untapped land next turn, we can just go for Zacama. But it will be unprotected. We actually have a really good defensive field here. 4 toughness is wonderful versus their little guys. Rep Ring. They are ramping like an absolute... Yeah, if we had the Farewell, that would have been game over for them. That's a real shame. Swinging with everything, that might suggest they have a board wipe of some kind. Yeah, I'm just going to do that 1 block, because if we block the Force 1 Paladin, they can just pump it. And if we block the Pyromancer, they can cast it from the graveyard. And also, by leaving these 2 alive here, they also don't get to draw more cards with the Midnight Reaper. Okay, so they just wiped out our entire field. That is somewhat regrettable, but... So this works. This is exactly what I was explaining in the deck tech. So we go for the Ironcrag Feet, and then now we can go for the Zacama, which then untaps our entire field. Although saying that, I probably should have tapped this forest first. Oops, that was the wrong button. Meant to press control. So I guess we'll destroy some of their ramp, like the Celestus. I suppose we only missed out on 1 mana. And 2 toughness. Yeah, I think I'm happy to pass here, just because I do want to destroy their rocks eventually, but if they go for the chainer, then I can also kill that. Not got much hope for Zacama's survivability, to be honest. He might be thinking about going for chainer and then recasting the Midnight Reaper, or maybe the Pyromancer. I've got quite a lot of options. Okay, so it doesn't look like they have a removal spell for Zacama just yet. Oh, actually, that's a good point. With Ironcrag Feet, so I probably should have casted Llanowar Elves before, because otherwise I wouldn't. I would have actually screwed myself over there. I would have cast the Llanowar Elves instead of the Zacama for my next spell. So the sequencing here was really important. Also, this artwork is very Elden Ring. Orcus. Orcus is going to res something, and what's it going to be? So we can even kill Orcus, which is pretty cool. So once we see the target, they're going to get those two. So yes, I'm going to kill the Orcus now, so they don't draw a card for that one. But yeah, we can basically kill the Reaper. They've got haste. Wowzers. Ooh, Showdown of the Skulls. That's actually kind of cool as well. So probably best to do this first. Okay. Bad timing. The baby's crying, of course. 3 damage. So just gonna settle the baby and come back. Right, back in a second. Okay, sorry about that. He only seems to cry when I'm having a good game. Annoyingly. Not sure why he blocked that. Because we've got Trample. That felt a bit unnecessary, unless he's got a board wipe. I think a board wipe would. Okay, so no board wipe, so that was a weird block. You had plenty of time to read Trample when I was in the bedroom there. So now they've got Hazoret, they're trying to get rid of their hand so they can attack and defend with it, I guess? The Divine Purge could be pretty good here. It's just a nice way to get rid of all the smaller stuff. So we go for the... Well, we definitely don't want to go for that. Do we just win then? So we get a card back from our graveyard. There's so many options, aren't there? Honestly, don't know what to do. I suppose we can go for the Farewell just in case things go wrong. But basically I did that to put a counter on the Zacama. So they can discard both of their cards, so they will be able to block. 3, 4, 5, 6. So we might as well play the land tapped. Go to combat. Swing with both. We'll see what they do. So they can deal 4 damage to us with the Hazoret. I just remembered what you said, Cupcake Savage. You said you didn't want any alchemy cards, but yeah, I do apologise for that. So this might be one of the only ones. I would I'll find a replacement for this if you need to. So they're going to take 7 down to 3. It is unfortunate that Zacama can't target players, isn't it? So I suppose we could just go for the Divine Purge. Stops. It gets rid of a couple of their ramp spells. Obviously they can recast it. Maybe I should have done this before. Okay, it's the same difference, right? Because that's +1 damage there. And yeah, we'll pass the turn. So the main reason I did that is because I don't want them to have access to Chainer and all the extra mana, because it would have been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So ironically, I didn't want them to Chainer and chain off with some other things. So the Showdown of the Skulls really showing how powerful it is here. Okay, so they're taking us down to... Okay, so we'll just gain some life in response, and yeah, that was a strange sequence. I guess getting rid of the rocks was actually really helpful because it meant he couldn't have done it an extra time. It was pretty close though, pretty close toward the end. We go first against Carwin's Fury. They're going to be a I guess there's 2 routes, right? People sometimes go for the token route, which is what I do for the paper version of this. But I've also seen more control-y builds with Planeswalkers and stuff. Lightning Helix is actually not too bad because it kills the Kaikar, so don't underestimate the power of Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix. I think I saw a study, well, I say study, just like some kind of article, which was saying like, you know, it's a meme when people go, oh, Lightning Bolt you when you've got 3 life left and you kill someone. I think in a lot of cases, Lightning Bolt is actually an effective card. It kills like the majority of troublesome generals that you'll face. It's kind of cool, really. If you think about it, it is, to this day, still one of the best removal spells of all time. Because if you think about the rate of spells, so the rate that I'm talking about is normally the input of mana to the output. So the normal rate, in theory, I guess, is 1 red mana equals 1 damage, right? But because it's, you know, Lightning Bolt, the 1 red, 3 damage, you're technically dealing 300% damage there. So when you think about it, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? The only downside of fires is we can't retaliate. So basically they're able to do whatever they want during their turn. But it might prompt them to actually remove the fires, because the fires is actually really good in this kind of deck if you think about it, right? So I'm not spending mana to cast the spells, which means that mana is now free and available for the Zacama to go crazy. I mean, if you think about it, it already untaps, yeah, when it comes in after a cast. So in theory, you could use all the mana. Let's say you had 9 mana or whatever. Cast them for free with the fires, and then untap all your mana again. So essentially, you've got like 18 mana with the fires and adventures. So very good card in this deck. They discarded a Galvanic Iteration. Interesting. Some kind of copy sub-theme? Not really sure. Could go anywhere. They could just go for the Kaikar. I kind of want them to, actually. 5, 6, 7, front amulet. Oh, so they're taking the turn off. Banishing Slash, that's wonderful as well. So we can only do 2 things. So the first thing we're going to do, we'll try and swing it to Fairy. They very well might just phase him out and not think about dealing with 2 damage. Okay.
Too long there.
So our first spell is going to be Lightning Helix. Get it down a bit.
I don't have time for this.
And then we'll try and kill the Primal Amulet because we don't really don't want them to get double spells with that, do we, when that flips?
Time to improvise.
Only thing now is we've run out of spells, and they have plenty on their side of the field. Ironically, their game attack is bear to bear, but there aren't any bears in sight. Oh, it's a combo build with Aether Flux Reservoir. Okay, Pact of Negation. Okay, so they really want that Primal Amulet to survive. As if they just turned off their entire turn, though.
Think fast.
Isn't that a bit weird? Because now we can just cast Zacama on our next turn. And destroy all of that crap. So we'll QQ. So if you don't know, QQ taps all of your mana. Although actually that didn't work quite how I thought it did.
Only time will tell. I must have missed.
Phases it out.
Oh, you'll get over it.
Okay. I'm not... Okay. So one weird thing about phasing it is they can't board wipe it here. Oh, I see. So because of the discount on Knight of the Stampede, I had to pay the raw mana rather than the discount. Yeah, because I didn't have. Yeah, because I didn't have 9 lands. Okay, yeah, makes sense now. So if a spell is discounted, it still doesn't matter because Fires of Invention cares about the unaltered cost. That's interesting. So the opponent's probably panicking now, thinking, "Oh no, why did I phase it? Because I can't board wipe." Once we get to 9 lands, things will look a bit better as well, because we can start casting the Zacama, paying its tax, and then also untapping the mana when it comes in to do more things. But yeah, we definitely want to kill the Primal Amulet as soon as we can. So as soon as we get priority on our turn, we're definitely going to try and do that. Interesting build. So they've used Kaikar more of just a means to an end. They don't really care about it apparently because they've gone for everything else. Interesting. So even a card with split second on Zacama wouldn't matter because activated abilities can still be used. I'm pretty sure. Don't think there are any spells with split second in this format though. Though there's a Close and Grip. So yeah, destroy the amulet. Definitely want to destroy the amulet there. Tail's End, so then we'll just do it in response. Wow, they really want to protect this, don't they? What on earth? Chaos Warp. Wow, okay. Well, I mean, that's actually a decent hit, to be fair. Gives us a land. And that's kind of exactly what we wanted, isn't it? We wanted the lands to... How many other protection spells have they got? They really wanted to keep that, didn't they? Right, so let's swing in for 2. So now I don't think we need to... Oh, hang on a sec. What if we... So we can actually go for the Zacama again. Oh my golly gosh. That's kind of crazy. That is actually kind of crazy. So we'll use it to destroy the Mind Stone. Wow, I think we've just absolutely wrecked them here. That Tail's End was cheeky, wasn't it? So, in case I have a board wipe, I'm not going to go for the Ripjaw Raptor. There's literally no point. They can give something double cast, essentially. When you cast your next instant or sorcery. I'm a bit scared though, because they really wanted the amulet for some reason. There must be some kind of extra turn spell in their hand. That's the normal spell, isn't it? The extra turn spell. Oh, that... yeah, that was actually... I think that was a bit of in hindsight, I probably should have actually gone for the Riptor Raptor, because I could have done 3 damage to it and drawn a card every turn. What on earth are they doing, looking at all of our things individually? You've either got a board wipe or a single target removal spell. Mythos of Fadrock. Okay, so it means Zacama can't attack or ball because that's how they targeted it. So they didn't fancy copying that then? Oh, the way priority was held there, it meant that I couldn't actually... Oh, I couldn't activate it, could I? Yeah, so Mythos of Fadrock says if it deals damage, it can't activate its abilities. That is cheeky. So they didn't have a board wipe though, it seems. Wow, this opponent is really making me annoyed. They're just holding priority on every single action. Please, you don't need to show me that you can press a button. Like, look, I can do the same thing. Oh, I'm doing stops on every moment. Just give it a rest. Come on, let's just have ourselves a merry little game. If you've got a removal spell, just use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, right, we'll go for the Riptor Raptor. The worst case scenario here is we draw 2 cards because we can just target the Raptor. You know what? I'm just going to be a bore and chuck that in. So as soon as it gets to their turn, we can activate Zacama. And just so you know, Cupcake Savage, I know you said you wanted me to get some losses in, but so far I haven't had any. This is kind of... Yes, so far this is game 2 of 2 in real time. But yeah, I will include any losses because that was part of the request. So they cast Kaikai, which means they potentially have a protection spell. But I can just do the ability more times. So yeah, that's not going to work, mate. I swear to God, some people don't know how the stat works. And I've seen people before in my comments defend players like this, saying, oh, you should be nice to new players. Look at this person's deck and tell me this is a new player. Look at the mythics and rare wildcards, right? Don't defend people like that, okay? I'm normally nice, but when people do stuff like hold priority for days on end, no, you're not a new player. You're just trolling me. Oh my goodness, Showdown of Skulls, amazing. Amazing. So that's our first spell. Do you want Shaper Sanctuary? Yeah, let's go for Shaper Sanctuary. Imagine this said any player, but it says when it becomes a target of So if we attack, it's not going to do any damage because they're being protected by Teferi. Why does Teferi have to always get involved? But yeah, imagine this said whenever a creature you control becomes a target of spell or ability. I think this card in real life would probably be about 50 quid. Because then you'd get... Wouldn't auras trigger? Oh, that would be crazy. So now they really need a board wipe. Okay, cool. There we go. So, that's game 2 of 2. Okay, so starting hand is terrible. So we're going to have to mulligan this. No red source. We do have the Farewell, which is mega good against Heliod because they'll probably have loads of creatures. Right, we got the red source. We should be good now. Johnny's Pride Mate. Okay, we got ourselves a classic match. Oh, we could Broken Bond this. Couldn't we? Or it's risky, right? It's too risky. No, a Johnny's Pride Mate is too risky. We kill it. We just kill it now. Always kill Pride Mate. It's basically like Bolt the Bird, especially if you're in colours that can't necessarily deal with him that well. Okay. Let's go for our. We'll go for a weaker ramp spell first. The Feyburrow Elder is a bit better, so if they kill the Seer, it's not too bad. We do have a really good hand though. Age of Vitality, okay. Yeah, this is where we ramp. Don't forget, because if we can get to 6 mana, I think we just win the game. So if the Atsukan Seer survives, we just farewell. Oh, okay. Fair enough. It's almost like they could hear. Cool. Moving on to the next game. Okay, so we go first against Bolus the Ravager. So this is game 4. And it's a bit awkward because Cupcake Savage wanted to see a loss to see what the deck was weak against. But of course, when someone wants to see a loss, they don't see a loss. So I can almost guarantee I'll probably lose this match. Let's see how it goes with this hand anyway. Probably should have mulliganed actually, but Agonizing Remorse. That's pretty good. What even is my best card? I've got a pretty stacked hand, to be honest. Lots of 2-drops. Yeah, Zacama doesn't really do that well versus hard control. We're really, really good against creatures and decks like Enchantress because we can just take out all the enchantments. I really hope the opponent takes a Farewell because they're scared of one of the best cards in the format. Farewell is basically Ugin 2.0. And it's 6 mana, which is 2 less. Right. So we go for the Cobra. We miss the land drop. Did they miss a land drop as well? Okay, looks like they're very into their discard spells. Fine. Do they get a land drop though? If they don't, then we're kind of like level. They do hit one. Right, so we are a bit screwed. Sure. Tap land. Any more discard spells? Actually, yes. So that's 3 discard spells and 1 counter spell. This guy must be really fun at parties, right? So we're not allowed to have any lands. So Cupcake Savage, apparently the only way I can lose is if I get a bad hand. Here comes Bolus. So at this point, we're never going to get to 6 mana, are we? So we might as well just get rid of the Farewell. Come on, just give me a land. Not even a freaking untapped land. Land on top, fine. I'll keep that. Oh yeah, pass the turn. Yeah, that's a real shame because an untapped land would have meant we could have harmonised and refilled our hand. They're not. Okay.
New job,
They're ticking
new
up.
life, new opportunities.
They got some kahunas. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I personally would have ticked down just to get rid of me. And I think that would have just, I would have just conceded this game. That artwork's nice though. The purple flames, pretty cool.
I have impeccable study habits.
Right, so now we can play a bit of magic. Funny that. So let's give Harmonize, see what we get. Of course, here are the lands. And pass a turn. So they missed a land drop because otherwise they would have gone 7th land and then flipped the bolus. Very reserved, considering they just wiped our hand out and then just digging for random answers with the Professor Onyx.
Let's go digging.
Tutoring for any spell. Right, okay. It was already game over when they wiped out 3 cards in my hand, to be honest. Even if I could get Zacama out, it would still be terrible because they've got Liliana. Sorry, Professor Onyx. So, yeah. Hard control. This is what we lose to, essentially. It is a shame. But, you know, we've had some good games, and I hope you've enjoyed them. I probably shouldn't be speaking in final terms, but yeah, with this hand, there's no way we can, especially just seeing how long they're taking to search for a card as well. Settle the score. So they're going to ultimate Liliana in their turn. Next turn even. Wrath of God, bit late. Okay. Yep, go to them. So this card is you don't see it very often, but it basically says proliferate twice for 1 planeswalker. Pretty crazy, right? Pretty definitive win. Each opponent may discard. If they don't, they lose 3 life. Okay, so this is the Knight of the Stampede. You gonna ultimate Lily? Repeat 6 times. So that's basically 18 triggers. So get rid of the Wrath. 2, 3, 3. How do you do this? I've never been a victim to this ultimate before. You can't just submit 3. Oh, you have to do 1 at a time. Oh, that's intuitive. Okay, so it wasn't just death, I suppose. I'm sure after 3 more spells I'll be dead. Huh. Probably a bit better when the game's gone on a bit longer. What's going on here? Just swing in and Bob's your uncle. That took a very long time to decide that move. There you have it. Lose to control. Right, as that last game was so miserable, I thought I'd have one more game. And let's see, so this is game 5 versus Jetmir. And yeah, seems a bit better actually. Ramp is always really good. Can't go wrong with Ramp, because once you get to Zacama, it's looking good. So we can't cast anything anyway, so it's fine to have that tapped. So what we're thinking, next turn maybe the Raging Raptors, or we could go for the Roiling Regrowth. Wow, there's a lot of alliteration in this hand, isn't there? Roiling Regrowth and Raging Raptors. So I can't guarantee this is going to get hit by something, so maybe we just do the Roiling Regrowth here. And loads of green on the field, so just get the green stuff out. And then next turn we can do Migration Path. So as you can see, it really just ramps up, doesn't it? It really does. So it's only turn 4, but we've got 6 lands. And you might think, oh, put loads of rocks in the deck. But yeah, with Zacama, you don't want to put any rocks in the deck, to be honest, because it just doesn't work with his trigger, so be wary. So now we've got an absolutely beautiful synergy, so you don't activate Field Ruin. So if you go for Marauding Raptor, and then you play the Raging Raptors, it will instantly trigger the Enrage trigger, which gives you a land, which is what people used to do in Standard. Beautiful. And the Fellow Retreat is somewhat of a problem, so I think I do want to Broken Bond it, and pass the turn. So I think we might have this game in the bag. I mean, they do have white mana, of course, so they could just, you know, exile our Zacama on stack. Although it is a cast trigger, isn't it? Oh no, it's an ETB trigger, but if you cast it, okay. Oh, we got the hexproof, guys. We got the hexproof. Well, there you go. I mean, basically, I think it's a pretty good deck, Cupcake Savage. That's game 5 of 5, and I don't do normal conventional outros anymore. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed the video, and I mean, I could play forever, but the video would be hours and hours long. But I can assure you, this was game 5 of 5. The win rate was 80%, as you saw. And yeah, as I said before, if anyone else likes the idea of me making you a deck and giving you the list will be in the description below, so anyone is free to have a look. Yeah, check out my donations page. It really helps me, and I really appreciate it, because yeah, YouTube doesn't give anything, and I've done hundreds of hours of videos now. I recently reached a milestone of 100,000 views, so thank you all very much. Obviously, I couldn't do it without your support, and yeah, that's why donations are so important, because life is busy, and yeah, it really helps me, motivates me into doing more like this. So until next time, cheers to the commission, Cupcake Savage. I hope you enjoyed the deck and the gameplay, and see you all later. Bye. If you've had fun watching this video, don't forget to leave me a like and a sub, and to check out my Ko-fi donations page, where you can donate as little or as much as you want. And check out some more videos to keep watching.